I always stayed with my granddad. They raised me up, and he taught me a lot about farming. He taught me everything about the land, how to drive tractors. We grow corn and wheat and soybean, and we use them one as a rotation to the other one. My personal land, I own 152 acres of land, and half of it is in timber and the other half is in agriculture use.
A lot of times, landowners don't realize the benefit of the forest. This whole project is about reducing the land loss in the African American community. One of the focuses of our project is landowner education and hopefully to stem the tide of land loss in the African American community. So SARI and I met, and she was telling me about the grad students she had. I said, well, this would be a great opportunity for future natural resource professionals to get an opportunity to actually work with real live people and landowners.
So forest management plan is a plan for how to manage the forest in the property. So it includes assessment of what is there, what's the volume of in the forest, what trees there are. Based on what the landowner would like to do with his trees, then come up with a plan, a silvicultural plan for each one of the compartments of the forest.
So we kind of divided up the work where our interests kind of lied, and me and Michelle did a lot of the field kind of work, but then ALISON, KENDALL, and TAL did a lot on the back end, doing the actual drafting of the document and doing the modeling and things like that.
His land had at least 2, if not 3 different forest types on it. And so to make them all run on the same time scale was actually very challenging and difficult to maximize the value that he could get from the land.
We did this whole thing in about a month or a month and a half. I did a lot of the modeling of kind of the different management prescriptions on the forest and kind of looking at what they would do. And that's what we used to fine-tune our ultimate recommendations.
I'd never been to that part of the state, and it was really cool just to see the different landscape out there. Mr. Peterson has this huge wetland forest, which doesn't have high timber value, but has great conservation value. It's a really biodiverse area. And kind of looking to see for this wetland area what sorts of ways we could find revenue from the non-timber resources of the land through the wetland reserve program, conservation easements, and things like that.
Weighing his interests in pursuing sort of the maximum yield for timber value, but also maintaining the wildlife values and trying to actually figure out where that wetland delineation was pretty difficult.
So we produced a shorter plan that we actually gave to Mr. Peterson, and that's what he and Alton Perry are really running with. But then for the academic purposes of the class, we had to produce a longer plan for SARI. That included 3 different management scenarios and a lot more kind of background information.
They gave me a very good plan to work on and work with. And they advised me on a lot of things that I didn't know in the beginning. And they really helped me and guided me. They moved my forestry up a little bit higher that I would have never taken without them. And I trusted them.
What we've seen, what is just so rewarding, is landowners, once we bring them to the project, when we started to educate them and start to connect them with the natural resource agencies out there, and then they start to go in and they apply for cost share assistance. They apply for this assistance to implement a practice on the ground. They get a forest management plan. They follow through with that forest management plan. That is, they're actually implementing practices on the ground, whether it's a timber sale, whether it is reforesting after the timber has been harvested, whether it's implementing some wildlife practices. Those are your success stories. And Sarah and I decided, yeah, we're going to do this again. So the process is already in motion to do this for the 2018 year.